Right. The list of coaches for that the Panthers will interview for their head coaching job includes former Lions head coach Jim Caldwell, former Colts head coach Frank Reich, Bills offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey, Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, Eagles offensive coordinator Shane Steichen, and now they've added Giants offensive coordinator Mike Kafka. In case you haven't noted, those are all offensive-minded coaches outside of Steve Wilkes, who is the only coach with a defensive background. So I ask you guys, game on or game over, that it's a bad sign that out of all, Steve Wilkes will be the only defensive coach that will be interviewed during this process.
Horrible sign.
Couple observations. I'm with Mac. Horrible sign. They got the Rooney Rule already covered with Steve Wilkes. So bringing in Caldwell.
No, they have to have 2 external minority candidates.
Okay, so Caldwell's one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know who the other one is.
They'll find one.
But my thing is that maybe Tepper's gonna cut a deal with Steve and say, Steve, you're not gonna get this job. However, you could be my defensive guy, and you could be here as long as you want to be here. Maybe that's part of the deal. And he's going out the offensive guy to head up to be the head coach. Maybe that's part of it.
I hate it for him.
Me too.
I know what Steve is trying to do. I feel it because they need it. They need to get somebody in there to create a pretty creative offense, and they need a really good GM. Which they don't have either one of those right now. And hiring him as a head coach is probably the only way to steal or get a good offensive-minded person in. Is hiring him in as a head coach versus making a lateral move.
Mm-hmm.
Which that just means you rolling the dice again, because what you really need is somebody like a Steve Wilkes to lead the team.
What was Matt Rule? Was he offensive or defensive, Vashti?
He was a hype man.
He was considered a team builder.
He was a hype man.
But
okay,
there are debates about whether he was offense or defense.
Okay,
he's coached on both sides.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's the issue. Is I think the difficulty is getting somebody to come in and make a lateral move. As an offensive coordinator, is difficult.
Okay.
So the head coach is probably the only way you'll be able to do that.
Yeah, and so I think we agree on the same thing. Yeah. So this tells me Steve's not gonna get that job.
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, really?
They got to find somebody.
There are only 2 people, and listen, I don't think that David Tepper is going to roll the dice on a coach who does not have head coaching experience.
Okay.
Yeah,
there are guys who have succeeded in Dayball. I don't think he had head coaching experience prior to going to the Giants. There are guys who have succeeded, but after the Matt Rule debacle, he's going to have to take somebody who, I don't know if he can roll the dice in that type of situation. The only guys who have head coaching experience so far are Caldwell and Frank Reich. So, I think all those other guys will be interviewed. I think Steve Wilkes, who interviews today, actually will have to really show a good plan for who he wants to hire as offensive coordinator and what his offensive philosophy is.
Yep, you're right.
If he can convince David Tepper that, look, this is my plan, maybe he brings in a Jim Caldwell as his offensive coordinator. Caldwell isn't really doing much. He might not go for it.
Yeah.
Maybe Pep Hamilton leaves the mess that's in Houston.
True.
Yeah, Pep Hamilton.
So
great coach.
There are options.
Yeah.
So I don't think that this means that Wilkes won't get the job. I still think he's the right man for the job.
I hope you're right. Yeah.
And it just really depends on what he comes to in his interview as far as how he plans to right the ship offensively. But honestly, during his tenure there, the Panthers looked the best offensively than they had in the last several years.
That's true.
So
That's true.
Also, there's a part 2 to this. During his interview yesterday, Scott Fitterer confirmed that David Tepper's wife, Nicole, will be part of the hiring process for a new coach. Fans did not react favorably to that news, so I ask you guys, game on or game over to Nicole Tepper being involved in the Panthers head coach hiring process.
Before I answer that, Vashti, who is she? What is she? What has she done before?
David Tepper's wife.
But outside of that.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried to look up her educational background or her background period, and I didn't see much of anything. Right now, she is the chief administrator. She has a role in Tepper Sports as a whole, which thus far has been from a philanthropic side.
Yeah,
all of that type of charitable type works. But
great.
Federer did confirm that she will be a part of the hiring process. So I ask you guys, game on or game over to it.
Well, see, this is a question where you really, it's not a right. I mean, you got to be real careful how you answer this question.
Why?
Well, I mean, no, because.
Well, that tells me I shouldn't answer.
Well, here's the thing, though. Not knowing her background, I mean, has she ever hired? Has she been in the room with the hiring process? I have no.
For an NFL head coach, I'm pretty certain I can say she hasn't.
So I have no idea why she's even part of the process, and I'm being honest about that. Yeah, I got a problem with that. 'Cause other than he trusts her judgment on things, on life. Maybe that has a lot to do with it. But in terms of the ability for a person to coach a team, I doubt that she's going to have an impact there. But maybe he just trusts her, and that's why she's there.
So some of this
that's interesting.
Some of this I think was probably a direct result of Matt Rule.
I got to ask why you say that?
Because I'm sure she was screaming from the mountaintops.
Like, don't hire him?
I'm sure.
Okay. My point, she's
screaming from the mountaintops.
He trusts her. That's what I'm saying. Right.
And she's like, I told you.
I don't like how he walks.
Like, but
Reese, you being petty now.
So,
going in the petty round, Reese.
But maybe she is too.
But see, but here's the thing. But here's the thing, though. Here's some value to this.
Okay. Yeah.
Here's a person that, although she may seem to have no knowledge whatsoever about X's and O's on the field or any of those kind of things, right? You bring a person like this in that you trust, right, that has the interests of the organization, best interests of the organization at heart, and a vested interest, right?
Yeah.
And because they're removed from all of those football things,
that's right.
They get a chance to just see, here's a leader of an organization we want to bring in, just as if you were hiring a new executive director for a nonprofit or any one of those other things. Now, she wouldn't have the final decision. I'm almost positive of that.
But she would have input, though.
But she would be able to say, tell me what you think about it.
That's interesting. Because that woman's intuition shows up all the time, too. In several different facets of life, and maybe
not
that's
just because she's a woman, just because she's removed from day-to-day stuff, though.
Yeah, but when women do have that gift. I'm just saying. So
they know a lot.
They know, maybe that's her role. So maybe I stand down right there. So there it is, Vashti.
I don't know about this.
Okay.
I mean, y'all can be politically correct if you want. K-Mac, you can say,
I know
outside of the room. I just don't understand where her and I would have to look this up. Maybe she has qualifications outside of being his wife that allows her to be in on a decision that is so important to the future of the franchise.
Well, maybe
she is a part owner. I mean, as his wife, she has the title of owner. So, I mean, she's making a lot of the decisions, and I understand that. But I don't even know if David Tepper himself is qualified enough to make this decision outside of the fact that he bought the team. This is why a lot of people sometimes, and even in corporate America, you hire outside firms to make big decisions about these type of things. Now, I don't know if an outside firm will help make this decision or if it will just be guys within the Panthers organization. But I say all that to say maybe she's intuitive. Maybe she has insight. I won't take that from her.
Okay.
But I hope that there are other voices in the room that can look at this from a football standpoint, from a standpoint of what is needed in a locker room. To me, I would like for him to consult players who have been under each of these coaches and talk to them. All of that stuff matters, and I don't know if they aren't. But just having a sit-down interview and having somebody in there, I don't have a problem with Nicole being in the room. But I hope that there are other professionals, experts in the room who know what to look for specifically in a head coach and in a leader of an NFL locker room. Just because you can lead the folks outside and get them together and walk a certain way does not mean you can lead a group of millionaires who are in a locker room. So
yeah, and
that's a good point.
But the reality is this is the model for a lot of places, a lot of corporations, a lot of other entities, where you have 5 or 6 interviews, and some people you think, why in the heck am I even talking to this person?
Yeah, but
you know what I mean. But they're part of the process.
But I don't know where a CEO would have his wife involved in hiring an SVP.
Well, she's not just his wife though.
Oh, what is she?
She's a business. She's a business partner.
You know, happy wife, happy life.
Well, she's a business partner.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? She may also be his wife, but she is also his business partner.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Business partner?
Well, you said she was part owner.
Well, I mean, she's listed as owner because she's his wife.
I mean, she gonna.
You don't know why?
No, that's why.
That's why. That's why. And that's not even a knock.
That's not a knock. It is.
His wife
It's
is
like
an involved job.
After 60 days, you didn't try to have.
Like cut that business.
Y'all move on,
man. No, Vashti right.
Let's not act like she wrote a check in on his deal. That's a business partner. They are life partners. Okay.
Happy wife, happy life.
I'm gonna move on.
All right, the Wolfpack, they're 13-4 overall,
Yes.
3-3 in the ACC. They've won 2 straight conference games, though. And during that two-game win streak, Taquarion Smith and Jarkel Jordan are averaging 44 points combined. I asked you guys, game on or game over, that NC State is one of the most dangerous teams in the ACC right now.
Facts.
I think they got the
100%.
best.
What?
Yeah,
Did K-Max say facts?
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, and I said facts too, and I think they got the best backcourt right now in the ACC.
Absolutely.
Right now. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I agree. Listen, when I saw that stomping on Duke, I was like, yo, how are they going to follow that up? And they followed it up with a similar game against Virginia Tech. So right now, I mean, and we all know in March, it's the court that wins you games in March. That's what carries you to the championship. Not that the Wolfpack are on that route, but they are looking like a scary team right now in division play.
And you know what? I think it's good. I think it's good for Coach Keith. It's about time. They're showing up. Obviously, Coach Jay over at Duke, he still got stuff to work out. We don't know what's going on in Chapel Hill. They're up and down. So this is a good look for Keith if they could sustain this for a period of time, I think.
When the one weakness Duke, one of many weaknesses Duke had was a very strong point for NC State. Yeah. And boy, did it show.
Yeah. It's like,
All right, I got one more.
Yeah.
All right. Time for one more?
Yeah,
all right, the Tar Heels, they have a big game against UVA in Charlottesville tonight.
That's right.
The Tar Heels lead the ACC in scoring and 81.4 points per game, while Virginia
I don't know how. Go ahead.
You ain't lying.
Vashti.
Uh-oh. Lead you, Vashti?
have won 2 in a row. I ask you guys, game on and game over, that if the Heels beat the Cavaliers, they should be back in the top 25.
100%.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I'm still surprised they're not back there now.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean,
because the wins over Notre Dame and
Wake Forest.
Wake Forest,
yeah, but a win is a win is a win. In this league this year,
that's why you don't get back in, because a win is a win is a win.
In the ACC, though, I mean, we got Clemson leading the league. Give me a break. Come on,
they're winning.
Okay,
that's it.
Just like Alabama lost to Tennessee and LSU. I mean, you got to win, right?
Yeah.
No, she's trying to come at us.
I'm not taking the bait. I'm not taking the bait.
You got to win the games. You got to win. To get in, right?
We're not going to address this with you right now. I know what you're trying to do. I know what you're trying to do. We have no time. Don't worry about it. What?
Now we don't have time.
Vashti, we're not doing this.
But you know what?
Not this morning.
Every time I sit next to her, I learn a new term. On Saturday.
Oh, she good at it. What you get
What was the term?
It was was it myth?
No, that can't be new.
No, it wasn't it.
No, that wasn't. Now what was it? Mig.
Mid.
Yeah. You know what that is, Graham? What it stand for?
Basically means like not good, like subpar.
So we was talking about these athletes who are dating or marrying these other individuals, and she used that term on a couple of athletes that had made some choices. I'll just leave it like that.
Oh wow.
You don't want to name the specific person that I was talking about?
Which one was it, Vaz? Remind me. Who was it?
I'm not going to call out your friends. I know they listen.
Did she hit me in the DM with one of them, too?